Hi, welcome to Rosebank Farm. This is How Does Your Garden Grow, episode 3. We're going to be looking at some possible sites for my granddaughter's butterfly garden and doing some soil samples. So let's turn the camera around and take a look at some of the sites we're looking at. The first site we're looking at is full sun. Just to orient you, there is my grapevine and pizza oven. And there's the site that we're looking at, and then on over to the hayfield. So this site is one of the few spots on my farm that gets full sun all day long. So we're looking at this site, and we're also looking at a site over in the garden. So let's go over and take a look at that. The second place we're looking at to put the butterfly garden is inside my vegetable garden area. And we're looking at this little, I think it's about a 4x4 foot space. The problem with this site is it is shaded somewhat from the morning sun behind my granddaughter. The sun comes up that direction, so it is in shade part of the day. We are working on activity 1, the site scope, and we've showed you the 3 sites that we're looking at. The third site is the same as the first, except we'll be using a tire to make a raised bed. So the first and third have enough space. The second site I showed you in the garden is a little bit small. The first and third have full sun. We will be doing the soil jar test next. We don't need to do the drainage test because I really think we're going to go with the raised bed up in the tire. This one is soil amendment. We'll be doing weekly fertilizing. Irrigation, there's nothing near this site. We can use a hose for the other ones, that'll reach. There is wind and we will have a view. So for the soil test, we need to dig a hole and get a half a cup of soil and put it in the jar. So we're gonna just remove the sod right here and get some soil.
I'm gonna get soil from the pool and put it in the jar. I'm gonna get it halfway.
We're at site 2 and we're gonna get a little bit of dirt from site 2 to do our soil test. So we're just gonna grab a little bit and put it in the jar just like that. We're ready to do the third soil test. This is the spot that we're going to be using, but it'll be interesting to see the mixture of the soil. So we just put a little bit in the jar, and this will be our site 3. We're going to be doing step 1. We have the quart-sized glass jars, and so now we're going to measure 1/2 cup of the garden soil, 3 cups of water, and a drop of dishwashing soap. And we have to shake each jar for 5 minutes and then let stand for 24 hours. The first thing you need to do is dump your soil out of the jar into the mixing bowl. So pick up the jar, dump it into the mixing bowl. Okay, now you only need 1/2 of a cup. So now use the measuring cup to scoop up and pack it in tightly 1/2 cup of the soil. It has to be level like you did for your cooking project. A little bit more. Has to be filled up level to the top.
This looks good enough.
Okay, and put that back in the jar. The next thing we need is 3 cups of water. So go ahead and dump that 2 cups in, and then we'll fill it up to the 1 cup line to get our 3 cups of water that we need.
Trying to be careful.
We need 1 more cup of water because 2 cups plus 1 cup is how many cups?
3 cups.
That's right. Pour that last cup in there.
Because we need 3 cups.
The last ingredient for the soil jar is a drop of dish soap. So not too much, just a little drop real quick. Did you get it in there?
Yeah, it was only like this much.
Okay, in a circle, 5 minutes. And then we're going to follow the same process for the other 2 jars, which is 1/2 cup of dirt, 3 cups of water, dash of dish soap, and stir for 5 minutes. It has been 24 hours and we are going to measure and do the experiment in Appendix A to figure out the percent of sand, silt, and clay in the soil jars. So right here are the soil jars that have been sitting for 24 hours. The one on the left that says Atlas is the site that we ended up putting her butterfly garden. But underneath, site B is from the site in the garden, and the one on the right that's really dark and black, that is the actual mixture of garden soil, compost, and potting soil that we filled the tire with to make her butterfly garden. So, okay, this is the 3rd jar with the garden soil, potting soil mix. And I don't really see any layering in there, and it looks like it's right around 1 inch. So we're going to put 1 inch on that one. I have drawn Sharpie lines where the layers of the sand, silt, and clay are, and my granddaughter's going to measure. So we have a ruler that measures with 1/16, and she's going to count up to the first line. This will be the sand layer.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Yeah, that looks about right. Let's do 13/16 for the sand layer. Now we're going to measure the silt layer. Okay, so find where you left off.
Right.
Yep, 13. Yep. Count.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, it looks about 4. Let's record that as 4/16. The last layer we need to measure is that lightest layer on the top, the clay layer. So get your pen.
Right here is
Yep.
where we ended. 1, 2.
Yeah, I think it's about 2. Yep. Okay, let's record that as 2/16. Time for a little bit of complicated math. So the sand measured 13/16 of an inch. So we take 1/16 converted to decimal is 0.0625. So we take 13 and multiply that by the 0.0625. We get 0.8125 for the sand. Silt, reduce your fraction. 4/16 reduces to 1/4. 1/4 is 0.250 as a decimal. Clay was 2/16. Reduce the fraction to 1/8. 1/8 is 0.125, and then we add those up and we get 1.1875. To figure out the percentage, you take the clay 0.8125 and divide it by the whole, and I got 0.684210, round that up to 0.68, which is 68%. Do the same thing, divide 0.250 divided by 1.1875, and I got this number, and then you round it off 0.21, and then lastly divide 0.125 divided by the whole, you get this, and then the 5 rounds that up to 11. Then when I add these up, they equal 100. 8 plus 1 plus 1 is 0. 6 and 1, 7. 8, 9, 10. So there's your 100%. So these are your percentages that I'm going to enter into the website. We are ready to input the results of our percentage of sand, silt, and clay into this website, and so you see it right there. Well, I'm using my tablet, and we seem to be having a little bit of trouble accessing the Ohio State site that's listed in her project book. We're going to try an FDA soil triangle site and see how that works. Okay, this website works. It's the United States Department of Agriculture Soil Texture Calculator. So we're going to enter in our percent sand, percent clay, and percent silt and see what it does. So after doing some research, I learned something that I think is very important to share with everyone. When you are doing the soil texture calculator on the USDA website, it would not let me enter in the percent of silt. And I went to different websites and found out that you do not need to enter the percent of silt. It will automatically calculate it for you. So this USDA website will work. You do not need to download the Excel version right there. You don't need that. So go ahead and enter in your percent of sand and your percent of clay. And then you hit get type and it'll fill in the percent of silt. And then let me scroll up and show you the red dot where ours landed. So our soil type is a sandy loam. So that's what we ended up with.
Hope you like watching this video on Rosebank Farm and seeing my 4-H project. See you in the next video.